Hi everyone and welcome back to the next diecast. For today's video, I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale Maisto 2005 Chevrolet Corvette. So this is a very nice model from Maisto. It's no longer being offered in their catalog. I think 2019 was the last year that they were making this thing. But they made it for about like 15 years before that. So Maisto first came out with this model the same year that the C6 generation Corvette first came out in the year 2005. And when it was out, Maisto made it in this really cool yellow that you see here. They also made it in like a dark metallic blue, a silver, and I believe a red as well. And they all had this black interior, except for the red that had like a sand color interior. And Maisto also made the convertible version of the 2005 Corvette. So this review could kind of count for both. The only difference is that for the convertible, of course, you have this same windshield, but no roof and the trunk door is different, of course. It's actually flat on the car. So you can find this model on sites such as eBay and whatnot, and you can still actually find it on sites like Amazon and Diecast Model Wholesale because it hasn't been discontinued for that long, and you can find it for between the prices of like $25 and $45 depending on where you buy it from. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the details of the model. We'll start up here with the front of the car. So I'd say Maisto did a really nice job with these headlights up here. You can see there's actually no pegs to be seen in them, and in addition, they actually do separate pieces for these bulbs here, as you can see. And just like on the real car, you can see that the inside of the light is yellow to match the body of the car. And of course, if you get the blue version of the model, it'll be blue inside, silver will be silver, and etc. And a cool thing is that these turn signals and these lower lights down here, they're actually separate plastic pieces. They aren't painted on or anything. Granted, there are these really annoying looking pegs in each of them. At least they are separate pieces and not just painted on. So the badge looks okay. It is actually a sticker, which is kind of weird because Maisto pretty much ditched putting sticker badges on their cars in like the late 1990s. So it was kind of disappointing to see on like a 2007, which is when this model was made, that they were still doing stickers on this particular model. Now, at one point, Maisto did make the badges on this model into like regular painted badges. I don't know the exact year they did that, but I know it was maybe around like, it was sometime after 2009. So if you get an older version of this model, you will get stickers, unfortunately. But if you get a newer version, it won't have the stickers. The badges will actually be painted on there. But despite being a sticker, it is on there centered and everything. It's not crooked and whatnot, and it's not, peeling or anything. But you just got to be careful with, cleaning the model. It might be a bit hard to do it without like peeling off the sticker. So this lower grille here looks nice overall. It's a separate plastic piece. The mesh you see isn't perforated, it's just a texture, but at least they, do something there instead of just like a solid piece of plastic. The paint quality on this model overall, I would say, is very good. This car looks awesome in yellow, and the other colors are actually like metallic colors, like the dark blue and the silver, they're like a metallic. This one is not a metallic, but the real yellow on the Corvette C6 was not a metallic color. Taking a look at the side, we'll take a look at the wheels. I'd say Maisto did a great job with these rims as well. They have the Corvette badge embossed in the center there, and they have like the molded lug nuts, as you can see right there. And also the brake disc and calipers look good overall. Of course, they don't spin with the wheel or anything like that. And of course, you do get full suspension, which is very good, and also full steering as well. Now, the side mirrors are also well done. They're actually plastic, but they're very sturdy. They're not going to fall off or anything like that. Taking a look at the rear of the car, once again, separate pieces for these turn signals here, so they look great, except for the peg, of course, but I'd say they look better than, just painted on turn signals like Maisto would usually do. The taillights look okay. They each have a peg kind of in the center, but on the real Vette, I think that's where like the light bulb would be on the real taillight, so that's not a big deal there. And this badge back here is actually a sticker just like the front, you can tell, and it's already peeling off just a little bit. So that's a bit I'm disappointing. I might try to maybe glue it on. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But again, newer versions of this model don't have the sticker. You can see down here, it says Corvette in the red inscription letters, which looks very, very cool. So in terms of opening features, we'll start back here with the rear trunk. Now, if you saw my unboxing, you'll know that the model came with like a loose trunk piece, and this wasn't closing all the way. I've since fixed that. There is still a bit of a big gap though in between the the trunk lid here. So that's a bit annoying, but it's better than it was when I first got the model. So we'll open that up to start off with. So there's not too much to see back here. You can see Maisto, there is a nice kind of texture back here. And also there's 2 latches where the removable roof would actually go on the real car. Of course, on this Maisto version, you don't get an actual like removable roof. The Auto Art version does, but this one doesn't, unfortunately. But at least Maisto did include like the latches where the roof would actually go in the back here. And like I said, this was actually completely out, this trunk piece here. So that's a bit of like a build quality issue. I'm sure it was just a factory defect for me, but I had to kind of like snap it back in place and everything. It's no longer loose, but before it was kind of a bit loose, but I've since fixed that. All right, next we'll take a look at the engine of the model. We'll go ahead and open up the hood. I'd say Maisto did an overall good job with this engine here. It is just one like kind of plastic piece, but at least they include a lot of like color and everything in there, and there are a couple of warning labels, as you can see. This Corvette badge down here is actually raised up like on the plastic, as you can see, and there is a Corvette inscription on either side of the block here. You can see this Corvette LS2 on it. And this piece is a bit loose. The 2014 and 2020 Corvettes by Maisto don't have that issue where like this piece is loose, but this can easily, you can probably easily just take it out and maybe put like a drop of glue on it and then put it back in so it won't like move around or anything like that. And a cool feature on the underside of the hood, you see that there's actually a plastic liner that has a Corvette logo in it. Go ahead and close that up. So the interior of the model is where things get interesting in terms of detail. Go ahead and open it up. And these doors are on spring-loaded hinges, by the way, too. They don't open very wide, but the door panels are nicely detailed overall. They have a nice like leather pattern to them. There is some silver detailing for like the window buttons and everything, and a little speaker down there. And there's also a door pocket, as you can see right there. So Maisto did an excellent job with these seats here. They pretty much look and feel like the real like leather seats on the car if you run your finger along them, which is really, really cool. And they actually do move as well. They kind of like adjust a slight bit. It doesn't really stay in place, but it does move. And you can see next to the seat, there is a small little seat belt there. It's not too well detailed like the 2020 Corvette where it's like the fabric, where it's like the rough like texture on it. But at least they're in there. Sometimes budget model cars, they don't have the seat belts in them. Continuing along with the interior detail, we'll take a look at the dashboard next. Maisto did a great job with the pattern you can see on the dashboard, like that kind of like leather pattern, and also with the Corvette inscription, as you can see above the glove box here. The vents could use a bit more detailing, but what they have there looks fine. And also in the center console, you see here, all the buttons are separately labeled, and there's actually a GPS screen that's turned on. And they even put in the pattern on the shifter too, so that's a really cool touch there. I will zoom out, move on to this side. The steering wheel looks great as well. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but it has the same kind of pattern that the dashboard has and everything, so that looks good. And there's a little vent on this side. And the pedals are nicely done as well. They look kind of like they're made of like brushed aluminum because Maisto painted them silver, kind of like that texture. So they look good. Also on the door sill, as you can see, there's a Corvette like sticker. They're kind of peeling up a little bit though. They're not very like applied that well. Whereas on the 2014 and 2020 Corvettes, they're actually on there like nice and secure and everything. On the roof, there isn't much to see. There's just a couple of like sun visors, as you can see here. That's what Maisto usually does with these models. They don't really put much detail on the roofs themselves, but they will include sun visors occasionally. And last but not least, we'll take a look at the undercarriage detail. There is some detailing under here. You have the typical kind of like chrome exhaust pipe system, but there is some detailing with like the engine like underneath here and stuff with those couple fans. It looks like it's all painted in black, but at least Maisto made some effort under there, so that's nice to see. Overall, I'd say this is a good model in terms of being like a budget model of the C6 generation of the Corvette. And it was made for quite some time, so it should be easy to find. And I think it would look good next to higher end like models and whatnot. If you can find this model for a good price, I would say get it, especially if you're a fan of the Corvette like I am, or if you like collecting like American like cars or sports cars and muscle cars and whatnot. All right, as always, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and please feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the model. Thanks for watching.